leadership and tutelage of Mr. John Ehlers and Dave Conrad, we had two of the most wonderful, and this is an intimate venue, right? The way that we
Oh yeah.
conduct. We had two of the most amazing couple. We have we today we shared the stage. The IFG Lubor did with Mr. Mrs. Jen and Mr. Fernando Ayala, very, very successful developers throughout Southern California, and I believe the nation as well. Extremely philanthropic, super nice folks. And then, another couple attendee today was Miss Catherine Gray and Miss Deborah Smalley. Deborah Smalley, comes from a family well respected in California for generations. She's done some of the luxurious high-end real estate here in Southern California, very successful. Her spouse, Catherine Gray, is so well known in the media world. As a matter of fact, she has her own radio station. But again, super philanthropic, super nice folks. Essentially, it's a description of how John and Dane operate, what they're all about. Also very successful, also very philanthropic, and it was such a pleasure sharing that with them today. And really, I got to commend Lubor once again for a fantastic job. But again, to our associates, to our managers, and to our customers who continue to support this well-founded land investment company, which is Valor. And I think that's why we're successful, is because of really what the symbiotic relationship and what we do for our customers. So it was awesome today, Yuko.
That is wonderful. Yes, thank you.
And
It's such a privilege to be able to take part in that. So I hope that others think about that too.
And again, before we start, I want to just recognize our market leaders. Once again, it's not a surprise. John Ehlers, Dane Conrad leading the team all the way up in Denver. Some of our newest associates who were just last year customers, Mr. and Mrs. Mike and Cindy Nelson, again, also very, very well known in their circle. Great couple. Congratulations on your transaction over the weekend.
Yay, yes, congratulations.
From the San Diego region, longtime manager, dear friend to Valor, Miss Jennifer Flynn, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. It's nice to see her again. We haven't seen her in a while.
Super nice, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Ray Benito from the OC, congratulations, right?
Nice. Way to be consistent.
Totally. And once again, I don't know what it is with that Denver metro area, but in this particular case, it's one of our top producers, Miss Lisa Gulias, who's actually putting together a transaction that spans Denver and China. So, Lisa, congratulations to you.
Yes, once again, congratulations.
So how about it, Miss Yuko?
Yes, welcome to Valor Associate Webinar. This is the second webinar in a 4-week series. Main purpose of this webinar is to update our investors and sales associates. This is part of our after-sales service. If you are new to land banking, please attend a basic presentation first. Rob, we are honored to have you spend your valuable time to share the most current and exciting update every single week. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that investment wins are not on the exit alone, and investment wins are always by design. Please welcome our Chief Operations Officer and co-owner of Valor, Mr. Raymond Mengubat.
Thank you so much, Yuko. This evening, what we're going to do is, our format is, we're going to talk about some of the great things that's happening in this great state of California, and we will interweave that with some of the local and current news that's also affecting real estate, but particularly land investment in general. So we will interweave California's golden economy into the need, into the issue of why land investment is timing unbelievable at the moment. Okay.
Wonderful.
Lots of words there for a few seconds.
Yes.
Let's get it on. All right. So
okay.
going to 2019, reaching into the fourth quarter of California statistics, one of the reasons why the state is so strong is, of course, we are probably one of the highest funded state for alternative investments, talking about venture capitalists. Here we're talking about that the spirit of entrepreneurship is so strong that there are 141 startups for every 100,000 residents. That's really what makes and fuels this creative California economy. But it doesn't stop there. As a matter of fact, California right now has got 51 of the Fortune 500 headquarters located particularly up in the Silicon Valley region and, of course, right down here in the greater Los Angeles area. The economy is so diverse. We have aerospace, we have entertainment, we have life sciences, and that's why it continues to be a machine as it generates jobs and opportunities for its residents. It's so diverse that even in farming production, California leads the state. We are now coming in at about $46 billion. I remember when we first studied the agricultural economy of California, we were somewhere like $10 billion. And since then, we have grown almost fivefold. California is at the center of the Pacific Rim region trading and also the Latin American region. The cargo forecast is going through the roof, forecasted all the way up to 2040 in terms of strong growth. And again, even in the competitive region of entertainment, the newest Hollywood economies, companies are still here and are finding their opportunities in California simply because of the base that it has already been started. And as a result, it's not a surprise that California is outpacing this great nation of ours. However, California is not just outpacing the nation. California is the fifth largest economy in the world if it was a standalone nation. Ladies and gentlemen, again, for those of you, even national investors, in particular, and even especially the international investors, I'm sure are not aware about the strength of their California investments. But all of this situation in terms of a strong economy comes with a dichotomy, comes with a paradox, ladies and gentlemen. And while it's so prestigious to claim, you could look at the date here, this is just yesterday. While it is so prestigious to claim that 48% of million-dollar listings or million-dollar homes that are sold in the U.S. are right here in the big California metros, again, as I said a little while ago, this comes with a cutting-edge sword. And what might that sword be? Well, if you look at almost the last decade, just looking at this graph, it simply tells you that the housing is not outpacing the population. Contrary to belief of Californians migrating to other states, while those numbers are also true, there are so many more people that are wanting to come to California because of those previous opportunities that I just mentioned. And quite frankly, for those of us successful Californians, we cannot see opportunities beyond this golden state because we see it thriving right here in our own backyard. For land banking, though, since I've traveled the world and done this business internationally, the one thing that I've seen that values land is strong economy is great. But what truly values land in terms of buy and hold strategies is population density. In other words, density of population per square mile. In here, because California is also the most populous state, the question lies, where are we going to house 2.76 million millennial home buyers when 48% of the million-dollar homes that are sold in this nation is sold right here in the state? And again, just on the previous screen, to exacerbate that option, land is not getting cheaper and developments are not catching up to population growth. So what's happening here? Some of these great successful companies like Google are now giving back. But let's not see this as totally philanthropic. They're giving back, but in a sense, they're also investing in real estate, investing in themselves because, even as a six-figure earner, a Googleite, I don't know if that's the term, is also having problems finding affordable homes, particularly in the Silicon Valley region. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago, Apple committed $2.5 billion to its own affordable housing here in the state. So what is happening with this great economy is a double-edged sword, which is the exacerbated problem of affordable housing for the folks that really can't afford multi-million dollar homes. And so here lies in a way, the crux of this presentation tonight. This brand new governor, Governor Newsom, has got a very aggressive plan. The plan is to build these affordable housing units, 3.5 million by 2025. And for me, what I didn't anticipate is, in a way, this is what's so cool, is that these very successful tech companies like Apple and Google are realizing that they too need to be a part of a solution, not just on the employment and job sector, but in real estate as well. I mean, talk about stewardship in a sense, okay? But going back to this, the governor is essentially looking at this now. How does he implement 500,000 homes when there's always been a housing shortage? The answer lies in the regional housing needs assessment, also known as implementing high-density housing projects in all of the cities of California. One of the things that Californians are very much aware is a term called NIMBYism. NIMBYism stands for not in my backyard. And what has happened is, in what will typically, let's say in Texas, take 2 years to build a home, in California it takes 7 to 10 years. And also the cost of permitting process, and also the quagmire that these developers have to jump through the hoops is becoming one of the issues why we always have a housing shortage. So this governor now is doing so many things to help promulgate the development of affordable housing as a definite need, almost as an emergency to the state. And ladies and gentlemen, we've always been saying this. How does this affect the exurbs? If 60% of the home building equation is land, you have to start off with affordable land. And so this issue becomes a true magnet and a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for those of us that are investing in the exurbs. So let's slow this down a little bit. So within a general plan, if you're new to this particular terminology, is basically how should I say it? It's a constitution of every city on how it will grow into the future. But it's more than just growth. It covers public safety, health, transportation, but mostly also zoning, such as where agricultural, commercial, residential, industrial, and manufacturing would be. So it's really a overall encompassing guidepost to the growth of a city, of a municipality. And also, as I mentioned before, never has it been that the state actually dictated to the cities the number of homes that they should be building, but because of the issue that we're having now, as a net result of the success, this is now becoming a market reality. So Yuko, I'm going to ask you to take a quick note, because I'm going to go through, come back to you, ask you of a number, and then we will reference it as we go on with this presentation, okay?
Okay.
So here what we have is the original general housing element plan of the city of Lancaster. The housing element plan, this is put together and is helped out by a quasi-governmental entity called the Southern California Association of Governments, also known as SCAG. And with this, SCAG creates a methodology to now form the regional housing needs assessment analysis. Okay, this is basically showing how many affordable units a city could absorb as a result of having to develop these affordable housing component. So on the 2014 to the 2021 housing element plan, Lancaster was assigned 2,510 units of affordable housing. What I like here is really the target is the above moderate housing. This is really for hardworking professionals. Okay, this is the highest number of units that was being allocated at the time, which is January 2014 to January 2021. So the total housing unit that was allocated to Lancaster is 2,510. So Yuko, I'm going to hold you responsible for that number, okay? 2,510.
Got it.
Okay, thank you. So now what do we uncover? We uncovered the latest regional housing unit, regional housing needs assessment from SCAG, which was a report that they did in September. And once again, here's the number that is important. SCAG is responsible for the Southern California region, the 5-county region that makes up Southern California. You know, this is why people get confused when they say LA. You know, it's so big, so diverse. But the point of the matter here is in this particular cycle, which is October 2021 to October 2019, SCAG is allocating 1,344,740 units for all of these counties, 5 counties in Southern California. And and also because land is finite, what they're finding here is that they have to allocate maximum resources to the land, meaning in some cases to go vertical. But essentially also because of the growing population need and also because of California's commitment to the environment, they want to maximize these housing developments closer to transportation corridors so people don't have to travel as much, okay, saving time, gas, and money. And then, as I said earlier, promote, you know, vertical mixed-use type development in order to maximize the precious commodity that is land. In the exurbs where we're operating, this is completely brand new because historically, even in my day up to now, you know, one of the things about the exurbs is single family homes, essentially, you know, horizontal type development. So this vertical type development is not just being mandated in the urban areas. This is now being mandated in the exurbs through the regional housing needs assessment, okay, that is produced by SCAG. So what's our point? November 3rd, a few days ago, through the preliminary RHNA, ladies and gentlemen, Lancaster, Palmdale is being mandated some 11,000 units by Southern California Association of Governments, 11,000 units in this particular region. As I said, you know, this is focusing on developments that are closer to transportation hubs. And if you're new, if this is your first webinar, as Yuko always mentions, please make sure that you attend a basic presentation for all of this to make sense. But for those of you that's been attending, you know that Palmdale is now growing into this future general plan, the most expensive general plan undertaking that I've seen, about something like $5 million to promote and have this high quality growth that will be coming into this particular region. More importantly, Palmdale is getting ready to become a true intermodal transportation corridor where 2 high-speed super trains will descend north and south, east and west. And finally, maybe even having its own airport that it's been trying to produce for the last several decades. From a timing standpoint, we've also reported to you that this general plan will be done right around 2021 to 2022, which is when one of the first super trains are going to be a reality, something like around 2023. And I'm talking about the train that will be going to Las Vegas. And so in the past webinars, I've explained to you the significance of this particular map here. But the point just here, just real quick, for land bankers, what is very important is to predict, okay, and project where growth are going to be from within the cities. But even more so, what we use is the tool that we call sphere of influence. Where will the cities be growing to next? And that is really the opportune time to be land banking. And in one of these IFGs that you and I were discussing at the top of the broadcast, one of the ways that our president is so counterintuitive is that after we do risk mitigation, he's not looking at zoning classifications. What he's looking at are where are the future roads? Where are the future major transportation corridors going to be? Because when that happens, trajectory, that's where the growth is going to be happening as well. So here's the next point. So 11,000 affordable units for Lancaster, for Palmdale. In Lancaster, and again, as we're telling you, they have to incorporate that now into their brand new general plan. And once again, SCAG region, through their RHNA figures, Palmdale on their last cycle was mandated 5,451 homes. Now they are being mandated 11,426 homes. Okay, almost a threefold growth. It's certainly a double growth from the original projection. Yuko, before I present Lancaster, what was that number that I was assigning to you to remember?
2,510.
2,000. And here now we're seeing on the 17,000 affordable
17,000. Wow.
cost to above moderate 17,000. This is notwithstanding all the single family homes. Let's put up another number. Okay, if 17 homes are there, could you multiply this for? And as this is, this is on a family of husband and wife, or husband and husband, wife, and typical trajectory of 2 kids. So 4 per household as they move into this particular location. What's that number that you're looking at, Yuko?
So 17,000. You got cut off a little bit. 17,000 times 4. Is that what you said?
4. Yes, please.
Okay. Times 4. 68,000.
68,000. Now, Yuko, for the golden prize tonight,
Yes.
what is the population of Lancaster?
200,000.
Okay, I mean, right here, okay, just on the affordable housing component, we're looking at in the next 8 years, what to 10 years, okay, what the population segment is going to look like just on this housing unit. So this is that are so on this cluster homes, right, these develop. And here lies in the projections, the street projections of what this organization does. Back in 2009, when Lancaster overhauled its general plan, Yuko, am I still going okay? Volume is still fine in your end?
Yes, you cut off a little bit, but you're back, so you're good. You're good right now.
Thank you. So we were able to capture these mixed-use zonings before anyone else understood what they were in the excerpts. And what we did is we put many of our customers to the point that we are now controlling a huge majority of mixed-use. So where might these developments be? One is it might occur in the Medical Main Street. This is a 350-acre infill, a multi-million-dollar project that's going to be centered by a $605 million hospital. And the location is just right off of the freeway between Avenue K and J, between 20th Street West and the freeway. Once again, this is more of an infill. And what they're projecting here are hotels, residences, more medical facilities, naturally to house the medical professionals that are going to be living and working in this very same spot. A year ago, the federal government created opportunity zones. These opportunity zones are essentially tax haven zones for developers that are going to be developing from within these particular parameters. Within the city of Lancaster, there were several, 5 opportunity zones. In one of those opportunity zones is an area called Parkway Village. Once again, Valour customers control a majority of land from within this Parkway Village where the mixed-use zoning has been stated because of, once again, the direction of how we project or how we predict. More recently, Kensington campus in Copper in and around the area where the veterans housing is. And this is where we're seeing the beginnings or the underpinnings of affordable housing length. And it is not a surprise that from this particular region, last week we presented this to you, brand new listing, $7 million for 18 acres, or roughly triple and quadruple the prices that we originally sold for our customers. Talk about the unearned increment. This is it in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. So from a community encroachment standpoint, this onslaught or this demand of affordable housing is a huge boon for excerpts. And once again, the money it is because of the laws, because of the mandates, because of the capital that a lot of these developers are bringing to our properties, both on a physical development, in some cases utilities, but also in paper development, in some cases density changes to make the land even better. And what is so good about California, it's in its land bank strategy, Proposition 30, which is probably the low cost holding cost for California. This is why it has become ideal. So that is it. That's on tonight's community encroachment standpoint. Let's say one of the biggest issues in land bank today is the onslaught of the alternative energy situation that is happening not just in California but throughout the world. Truth be told, this is probably one of the biggest exports of California to the global economy. How do you create laws that are just not just profitable, not just good for the environment, but profitable and good for companies and for the communities? Let's wrap this happening in Bloomberg a couple of weeks ago. Our green economy is now worth $1 trillion. 10 years ago, what was this economy? Okay, now this is so big, so much that the agent of change when it comes to transportation is causing so many of these major companies to retool. Ford or the company is now partnering with the largest car builder in the world, the Volkswagen Corporation, and Amazon to build charging networks for their upcoming electric cars and autonomous vehicles. Last week, Chrysler, Fiat, and Peugeot valuing a merger of $48 billion, making them the fourth largest company in the world now. They have to merge because they simply cannot afford to develop on their own the electric and autonomous vehicle that is going to be the future of transportation. Now, here in California, we started this change through Tesla. And again, this is what's going on now throughout, not just throughout the transportation sectors, but throughout many, many corporations in the world. Big oil ventures are targeting green investments. Why are they targeting it? Because they're losing market share. If these oil companies want to be dominant or want to be relevant even, they have to transition into energy companies, not just old energy, but new energy such as solar and wind. And hence, this is the number here. According to the International Energy Agency, 50% of the renewable growth to 2024 is going to be driven by solar. Cost effectivity, less harm to the environment, but what does it need? It needs a whole lot of land for it to develop into utility scale. And hey, if you think you're ahead of the clean energy curve, we've probably already lapped you, because don't forget, California started it all. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm going to conclude this broadcast tonight that in 2 generations of my land banking experience, never have I seen the banker being so fortunate, because now we may have the choice of where we're going to be profiting from. Is it going to be community encroachment, or is it going to be alternative energy? We have never had the situation in my 2.5 decades. And as this glorious states continues to perform, we generate the much awaited unearned increment. Ladies and gentlemen, we conclude our economic update tonight. Next week, I will show you some of these alternative energy projects and how they are affecting land values for our customers. Yuko, let's wrap it up.
Cool. Thank you so much. This is very, very exciting. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and see you next week. Thank you, Rob, for a fabulous update. Have a good night.
Good night.